Welcome back, episode 3 of I.A.M Living podcast. We got Nick and Timmy, my cousins. They're brothers. We're going to hopefully tell some funny stories today. Hopefully learn some stuff.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. We may see these guys back on. If you guys like them, they may be back. So let us know.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So I'm Nick. I'm the older brother. Grew up in Nebraska. We both did on a ranch. Did a lot of crazy things. Had fun times. Had thousands of acres to run around and do stupid things, fun things.
Yeah, I'm Tim, the younger brother. That was a pretty good intro. Since we lived at the ranch, I moved away and have been doing construction management since.
Same with me, construction management. Have you heard about the time that Tim did a little dental work to me?
No, I haven't.
So we were out, and of course we didn't even when we had video games, we didn't have internet at all. So you couldn't do Xbox Live and stuff like that. So we got kicked out quite a bit. Weren't in the house a ton. And one time we were just in the lot next to the house. We had old barn and stuff like that run down, and we were playing out there. And Tim was bent over looking at something, kind of just on the ground. And I told him, I'm like, hey, look over here. And so I picked up a big dry cow patty. And he looks over at me, and I threw it and just hit him perfectly in the face. It just exploded.
It was all in my mouth, my eyes.
It scared him a little bit, so he kind of breathed into and sucked in dry cow poop.
Ooh, that would be a bummer.
Oh, I was doubled over laughing, and he came up, and he wasn't that old, probably 6, 7.
Yeah. And
I had braces. I was really proud of my braces because I just got them because I had buck teeth. And he came up and punched me in the head and made because they're all connected, so it loosened up all my top teeth. Cut Timmy still has a scar on his knuckles
from it.
I
can see it right here.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so I was bawling, because I thought he'd ruined my brand new teeth, but it was pretty funny.
Well, we had a kid here last year at baseball season. He pitches fast. He pitched one right to a kid, and the kid looked at it and smiled. He had braces on. It shattered his whole front, his whole palate.
Dang.
So.
Yeah, that's a little worse than what happened to me, but that's exactly what I thought happened. I was so mad at him.
Deserved it.
Yeah, probably deserved it, but at the time I didn't. So yeah, we did just a lot of picking on each other, a lot of messing around, riding 4-wheelers, horses.
BB gun wars, paintball wars.
That sounds fun.
Airsoft, a little bit of that too. Paintball is definitely, I would say, the most fun kind of fight to have because paintball gun are awesome, but we lived in the sandhills of Nebraska, so the sand gets in your guns so bad that they malfunction pretty quick. You got to keep them cleaned a lot better than we did.
That would suck. You guys ever freeze your paintballs so they hurt more?
No, we talked about doing that.
Yeah.
Having a shootout,
Yeah.
1-on-1, just 2 shots in there that are frozen.
Yeah, I don't have any boys that are my age, as no siblings, no cousins. Nothing. So I don't ever do anything like that.
You got to get some guys to get some paintball guns. You can probably get into it now for a decent setup. You could probably get for $300.
Yeah.
And if you have somewhere around that you can fill up your tanks, that was the main thing we found is you couldn't fill up your CO2 anywhere.
Yeah.
The closest place was an hour away. So that was our main hang up, and really no freezing the paintballs. The only cheating people would do is turn their paintball gun way up.
Yeah.
So you'd be going way over what the legal limit is.
We did have one guy who bought hardened shell paintballs, and I got hit on the palm of my hand, and it pushed blood out to the backside of my hand.
Yikes.
Who was that? We would always go out to abandoned houses, especially if we knew people with abandoned land. There was one place we went, it was awesome. There was an old outbuilding, and then there was a house, and it was one of those old half underground houses. So we'd usually do 3 guys in the house that would hold the house, and then everybody else would just be trying to take the house. And it was surprising how well those 3 guys could hold.
That would be fun. Yeah, we need to do something like that at the farm because we have 300 acres. I mean, there's no buildings or anything, but we could set up blinds and stuff and we could set up a whole little course out there. Me and my buddies could go out there. You could just start with just a little gun and you could go and find more ones and whatever. We've thought about it with airsoft and balloons. That would be fun. But have you guys seen the little gel blasters? They're little, those those would be more realistic for like my age. Well,
Yeah. Well, and
know.
you guys would love paintballs. We probably started paintball when I was like 8th grade. You were like
yeah.
third
or fourth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we didn't even do it in buildings when we started. We just have like an old tree row that
Yeah.
ranchers have, and we do like 3 guys, so a 1 versus 1 versus 1, and
That
that
would be
added
fun.
a new element because then you had 2 separate enemies.
Yeah.
Tim was
Yeah.
always kind of a jerk. He was somehow sneakier than everybody else, and there have been like 3 separate instances where he'll go point blank behind somebody and just light them up.
Ooh.
Like one paintball is all you need, but he's kind of overkill.
Well, you got to make sure it hurts enough that they won't turn around and shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get them. You gotta take your opportunity.
Make sure
Mhm.
they're on the ground in pain.
Yeah. So what else did you guys do?
We worked a lot.
Worked a
yeah.
lot. That was most of it.
Usually tried to have fun doing that too.
Yeah, like I said before, there was a couple times where we had BB gun wars and airsoft wars. Like Nick had a friend, and I had a friend come out, and me and my friend, since we were younger, we got the BB guns.
We'd always go like in the barn because there was multiple levels to the barn, so
Oh.
we could, you could shoot through little holes in it and stuff. That was always a blast. It always seems like everything kind of came back to, like you were never like playing together as a goal. You're always like fighting in some way,
Yeah.
But that's like the most fun you can have. I guess it all kind of started with like dirt clod wars. Before we had paintball guns or anything like that, we'd just go in the driveway, and dirt clods hurt good enough.
Mhm.
There has to be an element of pain to every
Oh yeah.
competition, because otherwise, kind of like we were talking about playing poker with money the other night. If there's no stakes, you're not going to
Yeah.
bet appropriately. Same thing. You got to
Mhm.
have a little pain in the
Oh, yeah.
competitions. It keeps you honest. So when we were kids, it's like I was like, 8. So Tim would have been 4. He'd have been like Camden's age, probably 4 though, 4 or 5, because I'm 4.5 years older than Tim. We were in the driveway having a dirt clod war, and so like there was like 4 or 5 vehicles in the driveway, and we could use that as cover.
Ooh.
And just at random, I didn't even know this was happening. Tim stops because he's a little kid and he just starts peeing. You know how little kids will
Yeah,
just pee
oh, yeah.
anywhere. So I figured that out. So I knew he was on the other side of a car. So I just took a dirt clod and I lobbed it in the air, and it came down and hit him right in the end of the pee.
Oh no.
And so he screamed and let go and got pee all over
It was,
Oh,
it was all
my.
over me. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm. He told on me.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's the worst part.
And as a parent, I don't even know what Mom did. She probably told me not to do that, but I didn't even really mean to do that.
Mom,
Yeah.
do you know how impressive that shot was? You should be
Yeah.
happy with me.
Yeah. Right.
She wasn't even on your side when she found out how accurate I was.
Yeah. So did you guys like do any dumb stuff in school?
No. Nope. No, a little bit. Mostly, it seems like shop class was always a good place to do dumb things, just because the access to equipment, the access to space,
Yeah.
one
Less
teacher for-
supervision.
one teacher for all these kids that are in a giant shop,
Oh yeah.
And we had a really good shop teacher. Like, he sent a bunch of kids to like state welding competitions just because he's super good. But yeah, there was a lot of mischief that happened. Like, I did plenty of stuff. I know one time, would you have a universal remote?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
hmm Yeah, so I had a universal remote in our class, and they would roll on the TV and show us a video of how to weld or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he turns on the TV and he's playing a video, and I kept turning it off or turning the volume up to max, switching
Oh.
the channel, and he was so pissed off by the end, he just turned the TV off and made us go work in the shop.
Wasn't he like
Oh.
slamming the remote?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he was yelling and cussing,
Yeah.
slamming the remote on the table.
Yeah. We don't do anything in wood shop at all. He watches us like a hawk. We don't get to.
And
do
honestly,
anything.
things have changed a lot too,
Mhm.
like with the amount of technology there is
Yeah.
now, and just you can't get away with as much, and
Mhm.
it seems like it's almost like you get in more trouble now. Maybe that's just.
Well, you were talking about the camera system at the school.
Oh yeah, the school. I guess our school that we went to now, there's like AI cameras everywhere. So
Oh yeah, I've heard of
like,
those.
once it like picks your face up, they can go through and like, not only can they look and see your face and see every time you've been in any school building, but they can flag you too if they want.
Oh yeah.
And that's obviously kind of reserved for like, people who do really bad
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, if they want to go back and see who did something, now it's nothing. So it's a lot
Yeah.
harder
Mhm.
to do fun things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's funny too on in most schools, like if you're anywhere on their property, like I know at our school, if you like this is the same thing with your locker or even the car you park there. Like they have the right to search it at any time. So like,
yeah,
you know, you better not be doing anything dumb because they have every right to check your stuff. So can you still play dodgeball?
Yeah, we play dodgeball in PE, but we don't.
I don't even think kids can do that where we are now.
Really?
Yeah, well,
No, I don't think so.
we have to have foam balls that don't hurt at all, but they barely fly in the air. You barely throw them, but.
And that goes back to the whole pain and accountability thing.
Yeah.
Like if the balls don't hurt, like, I mean, you don't want to get out, but it's a lot more fun if you have like a 4-pound rubber missile coming at your face.
Yeah.
It makes you want to dodge
Gives
it
you
a lot
more incentive to
Mhm.
try. Well, because, it's like, it's sad in PE. It's like everyone's just standing there looking around and no one's actually doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if we could actually do something, then it would be fun, but no one can actually do anything.
We had a game, and I can't believe we were allowed to play it. Did you ever play Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
It was a cool game. So you'd be in the gym, and of course, like all the bleachers would be back, so you had plenty of room around the basketball court. And every team had 2 snipers, and they'd be caddy corner on the court. So each team had 2 snipers, and then you had foot soldiers, and each team had 1 medic. So everybody had dodgeballs, and of course, that was your ammunition.
Yeah.
And what you'd do is you'd set, you know, those football dummies that are like the full round ones, and probably about 5 feet tall. And I mean, they probably weigh 40 pounds. They're pretty heavy. So that would be Private Ryan. And you would have to go, each team would have to go and drag him to their base. But of course, you had snipers on each side. And wait, did the foot soldiers have balls, or was it just the snipers?
Yeah, they did.
So like you could shoot each other, and then like if you got shot, you'd have to lay down in the middle, and then your medic could get you, but your medic has to watch out because I think the only people that can kill the medic are the snipers.
Yeah.
And that was a fun game, but there were injuries. Like, so our PE coach, I grabbed he would play with us because it was an awesome game, and he was just out of college. So
Yeah.
And I grabbed that dummy one time, and I pulled it and elbowed him in the nose, and it bent his nose and broke it.
Ooh.
And he was just out of college football, so I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna kill me. But he was cool with it. He gets it.
Yeah. We have our PE teacher, and he's like, I don't know, he's older though. And then the assistants in college. So there's a guy in college that plays with us, plays all the games with us, and like, I don't know what he like helps us. But yeah, we play where we split the court in half. And there's like there's a safe spot on both sides for just one specific person on each team. And they can, if they're on that safe spot, they can't get out. But if someone gets down, then they can go get them back up. But then if they get out, then it's only a matter of time before the whole team's out. And it's like first one to.
Sounds like the same concept, kind of.
Yeah,
but like
then but then like if our team got the other team's guy out, like the medic guy, then we could advance to the like quarter line, and then the 3-point line eventually when it gets to a certain number of people.
That sounds pretty fun.
It is. Dodgeball is the only fun thing in PE, and wiffle ball. But other than that, we play hockey. Did you guys play hockey, like floor hockey?
No, we're too far south.
Yeah, makes sense. No gear whatsoever. Just on a basketball court with hockey sticks, like hard hockey sticks, and a ball that's like. I could toss it to you, and if it hits you, it hurt. Like, it hurts bad. Like, it's so dense. I don't even know how to explain it. But
so you got the pain factor back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very much so. And so just a bunch of middle school kids with no protection at all, swinging hockey sticks full force.
Hitting people in the shins.
Yes. And I think every time we've played, their kids have, like, started bleeding, and it's bad. Like, there was a girl, and she was just standing there, and she, like, didn't want to be there as goalie, and she was just standing there, and a kid hit one super hard. The ball hit her in the kneecap, and then the stick hit her in the legs, and she was down.
Oh,
it was bad. It was horrible. And then, like, I was behind a kid, and he swung it like a golf club, and when it came back around, it hit me right in the face, and it hurt so bad. I don't like that game.
Well, I think PE is responsible for more injuries than the COVID vaccine, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but
it's probably close.
We've all witnessed a PE injury for sure.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you guys were doing like gymnastics in PE?
Yeah,
once,
so you know that TV show Wipeout?
Yeah.
We set up like a Wipeout course with those foam dummies that he was talking about and all kinds of stuff you had to walk across. and we had a girl slip off one, roll her ankle, and it
Mm.
broke both of her bones in her calf right here. And
Yikes.
she was just screaming, and yeah, it was a bad deal.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well, in high school, there was a kid that was playing the frisbees, and he dove for one, and when he landed, he like snapped his leg, and he's like good at sports, so he couldn't play for a while, and it's like, ooh,
Jeez.
We have a lot of extracurricular activities that take people out of sports too. Did longboarding ever? Was that ever a trend around here?
no,
You know what longboard is?
no.
Oh, it's like essentially it's like a skateboard, but it's probably
Like 3.5 feet long.
yeah. And so when you stand on it, it kind of bows down a little bit, so your center of gravity is lower. So they're a lot easier to ride than a skateboard. But like, it's more. You don't really do tricks on them. It's more of just like a gravity fed method of transportation. And we had guys get hurt bad, like right before state basketball. They were bombing down a hill, and I think everybody wrecked. We have a good friend that his forearms were just raw. And then a kid we had that was super good at basketball, he broke his collarbone, and they missed state by like 3 points that year.
Yikes.
So yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No one. Well, there's always one kid that breaks everything every year. The other day he was doing on his dirt bike a wheelie on the sidewalk in front of his house next to a preschool. He breaks every day. He breaks something. I swear. He's
Made
always
out of glass.
He's always got. He was in a wheelchair because he was watching Joe Rogan, and he tried to teach his buddy a UFC kick, and he kicked something like bad and shattered like his shin or whatever, and so he was in a wheelchair for a while. But
What was he kicking?
I don't know. I don't know the story exactly,
A
but
power pole? Like,
I don't know. But he messed it up bad.
well, when they said that kick was powerful enough to shatter a shin bone, they must have meant your
Yeah,
shin bone.
yeah, right. If you kick the right thing, yeah, definitely.
Timmy had a buddy crash a dirt bike and break his ankle.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It was after a branding, a cow branding.
Yeah.
And we were just in the hills riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers, and he went up a hill, did a wheelie, and he came back and put his feet down to catch himself and broke his ankle. So I drove
Yikes.
him 45 minutes back to the closest town to a hospital. And
Yeah.
He made sure to hit every bump on the way to town.
yeah,
Right.
of course, got to learn his lesson somehow.
Yeah.
Pain factor.
Yeah. Well, I haven't. Whoa. Let me restart. I have a dirt bike, but it's actually this one right here. But like, it's an actual dirt bike. But I was driving it, and I was shifting up to like 4th or something, and there's a clutch and a front brake, and I hit the front brake instead of the clutch, and I went over the handlebars, and like the visor on my helmet, I cracked it, like snapped it off. It was bad, but so then I called my mom, and she was like freaking out. She was like, I'm on my way there, and my dad was just in the field next to me, combining corn, and I called him, and he's like, yeah, you'll be all right. Just rub a little dirt on it, you'll be fine. I was like, what?
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, yep, so then I couldn't ride the dirt bike for a while because I got in trouble for it. But
That's
It's
the best
fine.
way to learn, though. Pain.
mhm,
Pain is the quickest way.
definitely.
How many more times are you gonna hit the front brake instead of the clutch?
Hopefully
Probably
not
none.
many. There's always a chance, but hopefully not a lot.
I mean, somebody could tell you not to, but until you have that real world correlation,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But-
definitely.
like in Grandma's house when we were kids, she had this one light switch that shocked me really bad once. I have no idea why, but I went and turned the light on, and it like hurt bad, like went up my whole arm. And I can turn on a light switch, but if I go to that light switch in her house, still to this day, I'm weary of it because it
Yeah.
hurts so bad. So like, there's a lot to be said about learning a lesson with pain.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had, there was bad flooding, like, all over. And so we went out to the farm to check it out. And, like, both sides of the highways just had standing water. It was crazy. So we get out to the farm, and when we get back, we get out, it's dark, right, in the garage. The lights weren't on. So we get out. I'm walking up the steps. I'm running up the steps because my buddy was going to come over when I get back. So I'm, like, excited to be home. So I'm running up the steps, and I couldn't tell you what it looked like because like I don't remember it, but there was a curled up bull snake in the corner of our right below the door, and it was like hissing at me. So I ran back and I jumped in the back of the pickup truck, and it was so bad. We had to go get that neighbor because Dad wasn't home, and he took a pooper scooper, like the ones that like close on the end, and he stood there and it was coiled up and it struck at him, and he just caught it in the pooper scooper and just set it outside. He's like, "Here you guys go. You have a nice day now." I was like, "Whoa, wow, that's crazy that people just do that and they don't have any fear." But
Yeah. We have a friend like that. He kind of, any animal he really doesn't care about. Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's had like ball pythons for pets, and which they won't strike at you, but I don't know. There's something about having a snake in your house that I don't really like a ton.
I know. Yeah, or like pet spiders. Like,
No thanks.
no.
Yeah, no.
Like
Yeah, that's worse than a snake for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because a snake, it's like you could see them pretty.
If they
clearly.
get loose, you can find them, but a spider,
Yeah,
they're just gonna be gone.
yeah.
That friend, they had like a lot of exotic pets, and they live on a ranch too. So they like, if there was ever an orphan deer or like an antelope, what do you call it? Antelope? What's it? A calf? What do you call
I
a
don't
baby
know.
antelope? But they had one of those for a while. Raccoons, they had a raccoon once, and that was pretty cool. But like, it always took their shiny objects, even if it was a ball of tinfoil. And he had a special place behind their couch he would hide stuff. So he like had watches back there,
Oh man.
silverware, anything.
Like pocket tools, multi-tools.
Multi-tools, yeah. So just last night, or I guess I didn't tell you this either. My kid Cooper, baby, he was just playing with my multi-tool. I have a Leatherman right here. Leatherman, shout out. And he was playing with it, and he dropped it right in the couch. And it just disappeared. So I went and I was looking in the couch, and I pulled it out, but it was actually it was another multi-tool that Isaac's dad had lost like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and so apparently
ironic.
I had to trade this one for that one because then I couldn't find mine. Like it went deep down, so we had to like tip the couch up and cut it apart, and finally found
we
it.
had
It
to
took
tear
like
it
20
apart
minutes,
to find it,
Jeez.
but
which 20 minutes is a long time when you're thinking about a couch, like searching through a couch,
yeah. Well, and turns out when we lifted it up and we took the bottom of it off, one of the main beams was cracked in half, and I remember. Like,
no.
I remember like a couple of years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but I like elbowed the couch. Like I just like jumped up and slammed it. Just I don't know why. Just felt like it, and I heard something pop like really bad, and I just was like, oh, well, and I just got
That's what
up
it
and
was.
left it. Turns out I broke the couch. So
Nice.
Your dad's gonna go back through all these podcasts and start writing down a list of how much you owe him.
yeah, right.
Are there any rattlesnakes up here in
Uh,
Montana, or like any poison
yeah.
snakes?
There's just over there. There's the river. Over there, I don't even know, but our neighbor way over there, they're big. They have a big lawn, like huge, and they've had rattlesnakes in it a lot, but not usually. Not over here because we're decent distance from the river right here, but
Yeah,
yeah.
where we grew up specifically on the ranch, there were no rattlesnakes or really any venomous snakes. But like if you go, so in Nebraska, there's the Niobrara River. It's kind of a main river. As soon as you cross that and go to the north side, there's rattlesnakes all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because they don't like our sandy ground or what, but
I don't
that's
know.
not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Rattlesnakes don't
no.
really help anything, They take care of rodents and varmints, but you don't need them
Yeah.
biting a cow or anything like that.
Or a dog or
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we actually, have you ever heard of somebody named Jordan Budd? So she is kind of a content creator. She has she started out just putting like hunts on Craigslist and trying to sell them south of, kind of by Rushville where I live now. But she's kind of grown and like she has her own media company. You should look her up. She's pretty cool.
'Kay.
But I guess what made me think of her is I know she's put her dog through snake training. And essentially it's kind of primitive, I guess, but it works. Like they actually introduce the dogs to like rattlesnakes. Then they'll also introduce like an electric shock or something. So it's pretty much like in a awareness saying if you see one, you need to get away, otherwise there'll be pain, right? We're brothers, and Isaac is our cousin. Yeah, we share a lot of interesting family, fun family. Uncle Nate. I remember I was just a little kid. I was like 5 years old, and Uncle Nate would always babysit me, or it seems like always would. Mom would have me go over to his house, and so like him and his buddies were super fun to hang out with. They treated me good, good with kids. But I remember, have you ever heard about cruising for chicks? So Nate was like, all right, we're going to cruise for chicks. And I'm a little kid, so I'm like, oh, we're going to go look for baby chicks or chickens or something, So I was all about it. And we'd just drive up and down Main Street in his truck. And I didn't realize it, but we were obviously looking for girls, which I don't actually ever think we found girls. I think he was just talking a lot of smack. But
in Merriman, Nebraska?
Yeah, no, it was Gordon.
Okay.
So population of 2,000. So not a ton, but I remember one time Uncle Nate thought our mom was going to kill him because they were driving me out to the ranch, and they went over the hill, and there was a cow in the middle of the road. So Uncle Nate smashes the brakes, and I'm just a little kid. I smoked the dash, and I left like a radio mark in my forehead. And like mom was like obviously protective of her first kid and stuff, but he's like, oh, she's going to kill me. And just stuff like that. I was always hanging out with him. Or like one time we went to a wedding, and we had like a balcony room overlooking a pool, and I guess Uncle Nate was watching me, and he goes out on the balcony, and I just shut the door and just flicked the lock, and I locked him out on the balcony. And so he was trying to get me to let him back in, and I just was a little kid. He was freaked out, so I started bawling, but it was.
Oh my!
I finally let him back in, but he always talks about that too.
It's like cruising around in the Jeep. I remember that, and now the Tesla. Like I remember everything.
Uncle Nate always has something cool to drive around in.
Yeah,
like
he always has a cool vehicle. I remember when he bought his moped. He was like driving it around the block. Some guy drove by, flipped him off. Yeah, he was all excited about his moped. He was driving it down the street. Some country guy flipped him off. Did
Nate have like one of those like no-faced helmets?
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
Nice moped, gay boy.
Yeah.
There's a stoplight, and Nate like catches up to him.
Yeah.
Like that Shane Gillis bit.
Mm-hmm. He can't even get mad. He just laughs. Yeah, when we were kids, Uncle Nate had that truck that he built. It was kind of like a trophy truck.
The Duramax?
Not the Duramax, the Baja rig.
Oh, yeah, that one.
And he put like King shocks on it, and he would like drive it across the sandhills and hit huge jumps. It was awesome.
Yeah.
As a kid, like what's better than that?
Yeah, no, he's like the cool uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of our uncles are cool, but like he's like the cool uncle pretty much. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Next episode, or maybe next episode, depending. I have merch, sweatshirts and stuff, but I will drop the link in a few episodes in the future, somewhere in the future. So stay tuned for that. And yeah.